Leeds United made the most of their second chance in the European Cup against Stuttgart, the team they say has more foreign reserves than the Bank of England. Leeds won 2-1 in Barcelona in front of a tiny crowd. Their hero was Shutt. He scored the winner less than a minute after coming on as a substitute, and tomorrow's his birthday.
Yep.
All right.
Ah, not bad, you.
My phone would let me.
Having problems, aren't we? Having problems.
Well, at least it's not like. Well, I'm guessing everyone can hear us now. Let me just put comments on. So
we'll find out because people will tell us if they can't hear us.
People can see and hear us and that. Because there's only 41 people.
We've had nobody say no.
Yeah.
Shall we wait or shall we start with the show?
Just get on.
Start with the show, yeah. Anyway, welcome to episode 157 of the Talking Shutt podcast. We're back in the original place where we recorded from when we had such technical gremlins. And I'm joined tonight by old Ben, who's having some issues at the moment, trying to repost this stream. So those people who are watching live at the moment, do it for us. Repost it, share it, like it, smash a like, all them other things that they talk about in the real world with people who are technological savvy that we're not. I'm also joined by, you heard his voice there, Mike. Good evening, Mike. How are you?
Good evening, guys. Yeah, great to see you.
I've actually seen you more times this week than I have my wife.
That sounds like a complaint.
Everton on Saturday, Crewe last night.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we are membership buddies,
membership
football
pals, football friends, ground hopping football friends. But it does come with a little bit of a risk hopping around the ground. But we'll not talk about that on air. And we're joined this evening by a special guest because Raggy's not here. It's not Raggy who's been on an extreme diet and had all his hair cut off. It's actually Mike's brother. Good evening, Mike's brother.
Good evening. How are you doing?
He has got a real name. His name's Harry. The reason we've got Mike's brother Harry on is because we're actually recording from his house. So it's only fair of us to let him come and enjoy the fun. That's what
we could have made him like sit in his living room and be really quiet.
We did suggest that he just sat in pantry and upstairs, but it's
I do have a wardrobe to finish building, to be fair.
Yeah, fair one. And he's made us some lovely smoked meat and a lovely cup of tea, which we were all slurping into the microphone about 10 minutes ago because we found out Mike don't like it. Anyway, you don't want to know.
Nobody likes it, not just me.
Well, everybody appreciates a good slurp of a tea, I'd imagine.
Everybody appreciates a good slurp.
Anyway, while Ben's battling on sharing the stream, thanks everybody who has tuned in. Big Rich has just commented before I get into it. It says Charlie Creswell has just signed a new deal. Always happens that. We go live and something happens. So
either before or after,
So with loads of stuff to talk about tonight, the return of fans to Ellen Road this season. Obviously, we did have the little West Brom game last season. A few other bits of news. Crewe last night and a shit Johnny Alioski.
Yep.
A few other bits. And we'll get into it. But before we get into it, Stuart Trees, who's a fan of the show and tunes in quite a bit on Insta and likes to conversate with us, sent us this statistic. And I thought I'd put it at the top of the show because it's quite an interesting one. In the fact that we got beat by the Scummers first day of the season, and then they went on to draw with Southampton after that. So since Marcelo Bielsa took over in 2018-2019, these are the only teams to beat Leeds United and then go on to win their second game. So 2018-2019 was West Brom, Hull, Norwich, Wigan and Brentford. So they all beat Leeds and then won again. The direct game next. In 2019-2020, it was only Cardiff who were able to beat Leeds and then win again. And in the season last year, first season back in the Premier League, 2020-2021, that was Liverpool and Leicester, the only two teams able to beat the massive Leeds United and then win again. So it just proves that the Scummers were their cup final.
Post Leeds burnout is a very real thing.
Yeah,
But what did we say the other week about Man United? That they'll get up for the big games like against us, and then they won't be able to do it against teams like Southampton, Burnley, and all them other shit teams.
No, it's a fair point. Obviously, we are live. We said this already. Get your comments in if you've got any questions or anything like that. We're obviously brought to you this evening by our friends at Manscapped, making sure you've got nice shaved knackers. We'll talk about them a little bit later on. And the guys at The Terrace, and we'll hear from them a little bit later on too. Best place to start then, lads. Back at Ellen Road. Coming to you, Harry. I'm going to pick on you to start with. We became football friends on Saturday at the mighty Ellen Road. Excited going to the game?
I was nervous.
Yeah.
I felt a little bit queasy actually in the build-up. I said to you guys I had to go for a nervous wee before the match, and it didn't really settle
No.
at all.
What did you make of the flags, Ben?
Quite nice.
I like the flag touch me. I saw
I need some decent wedge on the eBay, I've heard.
yeah, $5.5 grand one's up for.
Wow.
I've heard. If only that weren't a cynical
I've got
joke.
5. Get in.
Yeah. Mike, we sat and cradled ours, didn't we, to make sure they didn't get damaged?
I don't think I
when we
picked
came
mine
out.
up.
No, mine. I pulled the fast one because we were sat in South Stand, and obviously you don't sit down in South Stand. I tucked my flag behind Mike to protect it.
Oh, did you?
So so
right.
Mike protected my flag all the way through the game. But no, joking apart, I've seen a few people moaning about the flag, saying it's a little bit tin pot.
Yeah.
I don't agree, if I'm honest. It is a little bit tin pot if you need to use it for an atmosphere, but we've got an atmosphere anyway. It was kind of like a spectacle. First game back, welcome back. I'm all for it. If I start putting clackers on chairs, get to your fuck. None of that stuff. But yeah, a couple of flags, fair dues. My kids love them, by the way. I've got one nailed at shed flying in the Democratic Republic of Roystonshire, and my lad's got one in his bedroom. So yeah, I can't complain. Let's talk about the game on the green stuff then. Obviously, Calvin came back into the team. He was much talked about after the Man United game that obviously he'd not played and it had made a massive difference. First and foremost, we touched on it briefly. Atmosphere before the game kicked off. Electric, I think, would be to coin the phrase.
That was the best match on together that I've ever witnessed.
Yeah, I think it was.
Oh yeah, it's the best atmosphere I've ever heard. Elton Road.
There were a lot of passion coming out in that match on together, definitely.
Yeah. You could feel that we'd missed it, and you could, and I was just so glad that we got it all out. Long may it continue for the Premier League games.
I don't want to get all like misty-eyed and stuff, but it was just nice to just walk around ground before and just see everybody going through the normal pre-match routine, like a burger, and stood around chatting about football. And it was quite nice. Obviously, I ground up quite a bit, so I don't really get to know people who sit around me. But it was nice to see people coming in and like a bit of a cuddle and an embrace. People who not seen anybody since we played Huddersfield. All that type.
That was as well for a season ticket holders, because you get to know all these people.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you're waiting for everyone to come up and and stuff like that. So yeah, it was good to sort of pretty much see. I think pretty much everyone that sort of usually is around us were there, so that was like a good point to that as well.
Yeah, I'd agree. Going into the game then, we talked about it on last week's show very briefly, that we kind of fancied it, a game that we could get on the kind of the front foot. And I sometimes find it difficult when we sat at obviously one end in the South Stand, and last night we sat in the Cop. And I find it sometimes hard to take in the game because we were quite level with the pitch. So sometimes it's hard to see, right, who is on top and how are we playing. So when I got home on Saturday, I watched the game back again in full. And one thing that struck me straight away after the game is that Yerry is a massive shithouse along with Richarlison. But prior to that,
we knew that anyway.
First half, we dominated Everton. We were literally dominating them.
I think, first of all, after the Man United game, we wanted to see Leeds United that we know of.
Yeah, the control in the middle of the park. And
we saw that early on, pretty much. I think they had a chance sort of very, very early, like first few seconds. But then from then onwards, we sort of took control.
There was nothing.
First half an hour was all us.
I thought I quite like the kid Alan who plays for Everton. And Alan Decore in that middle. They've got some legs and they've got a bit of physicality and that. But I thought we dominated them in midfield, to be honest. I thought Klitsch were outstanding. I mean, me and you, Mike, were discussing, weren't we, a bit watching him off at ball, and his really clever runs he makes to take players away, to allow space for other players. And I think, obviously, he had a bit of a rough time towards the end of last season. He dropped off a form a little bit, probably looked a little bit tired. But I think that you can really appreciate in the ground the work that he does that probably doesn't get appreciated on the telly because they're not obviously following him around.
You can just follow one player. I mean, we'll get onto it, but last night I just thought, I'm just going to follow Forshaw for a bit and see what he does. But yeah, we did the same with Iwobi as well. Yeah, on their right, our left.
Wow. Terrible. What a poor player he is, Iwobi. He has got photos of Rafa.
If you want a player to stand in space and do nothing
and not actually do all, he's your man.
He is your man.
They spent 40 million on him.
I know. Yeah. Wow. Just wow.
But that's the thing with Everton. They're one of those teams where you think collectively there's no real identity about them, but they do have individuals that can hurt you, as we found. They do have individuals that can hurt you.
Before we get into the talking points of the game, we've watched a bit of Premier League football now between us. I think the referees have got it perfectly now, where they're letting things go that they should let go. And for me, it gives teams, not necessarily Leeds, but it gives teams who are going to come up against teams like Manchester City, Manchester United, Liverpool, You know, it gives them a fighting chance of being able to get into the game because they can battle their way into a game.
Yeah.
Whereas previously, you laid a finger on anybody, they're on floor straight away, and then they get their set piece because that's how it kind of played out. But
you're more physical teams.
And we'll touch on Richarlison a bit later on because he became victim of that, I feel, on Saturday.
On that, though, on the referees, I think we're going to start to see, I think we saw it a bit this weekend, Klopp and there was another manager. Was it Solskjaer?
Moaning about it.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see what happens with that now.
Well,
because that was the thing before, that they sort of ruled the roost in it. They're the top sides, and kind of what they moan about goes.
Well, yeah, they know what they're doing because they're already talking about things like safety of the players because they know that they'll act upon that.
Well, one of the penalties for the Super League was that the top 6 or the big 6 they got expelled from the board meeting that they have. Like they have a Premier League.
Do you reckon all the rest of them got together and said, right, let's get together, just lump them every time they come, we'll just get lumped out of them.
Yeah. So I think in terms of Premier League executive decisions, like the new more lenient refereeing, I think I don't think they'll have that much of a pull. Yeah, they'll cry to the media and that might do something, but I think the referees need to stick with it now because we're actually starting to respect them a bit more now.
Yeah,
and
that's
I think
important.
Every game that I've watched in the Premier League from that sort of respect has made every game better.
Oh yeah,
I agree. Yeah, I agree. It's a bit more competitive. It don't feel as it don't feel as like cleansed. I mean, we saw it last night at Crewe. The ref had gone the other way at Crewe last night. He was literally blowing for everything.
You know, it was like going back.
It was like going back to Championship, but. Back to the Everton game then, and the talking
points. And they were
points.
playing for everything as well.
Yeah, which when we get into Crewe, we'll talk about, for those who didn't see it, how we saw it. Penalty then, quickly around the room. Penalty or no penalty, Ben? Right in front of you, weren't it?
I didn't really, I wasn't really watching that sort of what they were doing. Yeah. I just saw them both sort of go down. And then, I didn't see anything after that because obviously we're live and you don't get any replays out. But after seeing the replay, there's no arguments really. Is there?
Okay. Mike,
Calvert-Lewin gets to the ball. If Cooper doesn't hold him back, Calvert-Lewin gets a tap in. So for me, it's 6-1. Really,
it is a little bit. I mean, Cooper's defensive. He's pulling me as well. But let's get back to like defensive stuff. Cooper ends up wrong side of him, so he has to tussle him because he's wrong side of him. Otherwise, Calvert-Lewin just gets a tap in.
But if he gets away with it, it's genius.
Yeah, of course it is.
A goal. But obviously with VAR now. Because nobody on field actually appealed. The referee didn't even seem to notice it.
Oh,
it was just that
dickhead that were on floor.
Dina.
Richarlison. Yeah, that's one.
Yeah.
He claimed for it.
Yeah, but I
thought at one point that I thought if he's not claimed for that, the way he was carrying on about it, would they have looked at it?
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Maybe not clear and obvious in that, but no, it's a penalty.
It's a penalty.
If it happens against us, you
screaming at you. Melia gets close to it, to be fair. It's a good penalty to give Calvert-Lewin a bit of credit. It's a good penalty. It's right in corner because Melia's right down there. And if he's not in corner, he saves that. So
appreciate the guy who was rubbing his belly as well. He had his belly out.
Lads, Ben, you'll not be aware of this, but did you see the footage of the woman rodding Calvert-Lewin?
I've seen the picture on Instagram.
She was sat in front of us last night at Crewe.
Right.
Our judge were more impressed with her than Rodrigo.
People were going up getting photos with her.
Class.
Nice.
We're like Kez, to be fair. Back into the game then. So obviously they take the lead against the run of play. I don't care what anybody says against the run of play. And then there's a little bit of goings on between Yerry Mina and Bamford down at our end. They'd had a little bit earlier where Bamford had gone to push him away and like tapped his nose and he went down like he'd been shot. And then for some reason he just kept randomly grabbing his right ear, which I never saw get touched once. And then
that must be the Everton training that you grab your ear out back of your head and think like, why is there no blood?
There must make blood. But Bamford's got there before Mina, tried to shield it out, stuck his bum in his groin, which it works. And then they're having a bit of a wrestle, and then Mina ends up on floor on top of ball, and then it kind of carries on. The ball carries on, and then they end up on touchline, and then Bamford ends up on top of Mina. Ball gets kicked away and kind of carries on. The Mina kind of kicks out, and we could see from where we were that Bamford had got a pretty hefty scratch down his arm, obviously where a stud had caught him. But then Mina weirdly tries to like nuzzle him. He gets his head under his armpit, and he's like, like when you're kidding, you've been told off, so you try and like get around your mum and go, I'm really sorry, mum. You're like trying to squeeze into cuddle position. That's like what Yerry Mina were going for. They're going for head under armpit job. It was very surreal. But I think Mina, having watched it back, I think he realised he'd fucked up because He's like pleading with ref and he's shouting around him. And as soon as yellow card comes out, he kind of taps him on the back and goes, yeah, nice one. Like, fuck, I've got away with it. Like, I think he thought he might go, to be honest. I think he thought he might go.
I mean, if he's kicking out, it's a straight red.
Yeah, exactly.
And he kicked out Bamford. So I think, with it being dealt with on the pitch as a yellow for both players, there was a bit of an argument afterwards. They were both at each other.
Yeah.
Shouldn't the ref, I think, just deals with that?
Shouldn't VAR look at that then?
Well, we said that. That's what we were saying. Why VAR not looking at it? Because VAR now is a clear and obvious error on field, or a red card decision, or a penalty decision. They're the only three reasons, aren't they? So why it didn't get reviewed, I'll never know. But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, but the referee didn't deal with it as well, because that shenanigans continued right until the stoppage.
But in a way, then the kind of the tussles that you want to sort of see.
Yeah, I kind of enjoyed it.
It adds a bit of bite to the game.
Yeah, of course it does.
Yeah, but if they're kicking out, there's sort of a line you can't cross.
Yeah, went too far. For sure.
Yeah, it did.
Well, it was a potential penalty at the end, wasn't it? Like,
but I don't think it was me, But we'll get to that bit in a minute.
Well, potential.
Yeah. So then we get level through Mateus Click. Again, that pressing puts them under pressure. Bamford delays and delays and delays, just in time to roll it into Klitsch, perfectly weighted. And Klitsch does. Klitsch finishes well, to be fair, in them positions.
It was the amount of shots we had to possession. Like, we had all the ball, but we just weren't being direct at all. We were doing that whole thing where we cross it in. And it's like, they've got these units. They've got, was it Michael Keane and
terrible footballer, but a big.
We're always going to be that kind of game with how they sort of set a 4-4-2, weren't they? And getting a set formation and take it like that. So we're always going to be hard to break down.
Yeah. It's kind of a good thing that we went one down though, because I think we just suddenly got it up. We were like, we kind of got a bit more direct as soon as that happened.
I didn't feel panicked though, because we were that dominant at that point. I just thought we'll get back into this. Like, like I heard a few bits after, and kind of like we'll summarize it then. If a really good Everton side. There were not much I saw in them that really impressed me. I thought Damari Gray were good, to be fair. Calvert-Lewin's a handful because he's a physical, like quite shithousery type striker.
His goals this season.
But like other than that, I weren't really like turning around going, wow, he's fantastic. I mean, Lucas Digne has always been identified as a threat for Everton. I don't think he really got a look in all game, apart from when somebody wanged an e-cig lighter at him and he took it to ref. But other than that, I didn't really see, anything from him particularly.
Well, that's the thing with, like we said, the individual talent that they've got. They should be. Like Richarlison should be performing on the same level as Son. Or
he was performing, Mane. But not at football. It was like like theatre.
Yeah, Olympic diving.
Yeah, he spent more time on floor with like really crap, stupid injuries. That
there were one point, I think all the players ran off, and he ran into Phillips and just fell over.
Yeah,
like Phillips wasn't even looking at him. He ran into the back of Phillips and just fell over.
Yeah, if you ran into Phillips, you probably
fall over. And then obviously Damari Gray. Let's just talk about Damari Gray very briefly. Obviously, played at Leicester. For whatever reason, left Leicester to go to Germany and played in Germany for a season by Leverkusen. And then Everton get him for 1.5 million. And I'll be honest, he was their bright spark for me, I felt, on Saturday.
That's probably the bargain of the season.
Yeah.
I think they said on Match of the Day. Like,
apart from Jack Harrison for 11. But we'll talk about that in a bit.
Damari Gray, 1.5
1.5 million is crazy. You've got to wonder how that even happened, But
proper under the radar.
He was their player where you thought, he's got a bit of summer. His pace, direct, a bit tricky. Yeah. And just going on his goal, Ben, obviously you were at the other end of the pitch. And I kind of felt like Shutt Dallas could do better. Yeah, if you watch it back, he gets the shot away too easy.
There's no pace on the shot.
No, strikes dreadfully out of position for it. And
in the whole move, we were just defensive with Paul.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It's just one of them, though.
But it happened again, didn't it? It happened again, and
Meslier bails
closes
out,
down Calvert-Lewin. Yeah. I feel so bad for Meslier because he's done everything. Goalkeeping 101, comes to cover his near post, and dive left, and it's just the crappiest shot ever. It just trundles in.
Yeah.
And you're just like, for God's sake.
It comes through Dallas's legs, doesn't it? Which blinds him slightly. And it's one of them anyway.
Yeah.
I felt like we'd start second half pretty well, and we looked like we were going to be the team in the ascendancy. Then boom, they score. And like for only the second time that day, we heard from the Everton fans.
Yeah,
it's like pathetic. Like we were discussing it, weren't we? Because obviously we were in South Stand quite close to them. They were poor.
Yeah,
it was so
poor.
Get
over it. It was so disappointing.
There was nothing legible coming from them. They set a flare off when they got like a throw in. It was just like it was just poor away support. I thought. And then obviously it's one apiece, and then Marcelo makes his changes. So let's just have a little discussion about the changes. Obviously brings on Tyler Roberts and Jamie Shackleton.
2-1 down.
2-1 down. Brings them on. At that point, where like kind of scratching his head, thinking, right, what's he going to do with this here? Where are we going to play this? And we kind of went to like 3 at back, wing backs again, and it allowed us to overload that right hand side with Ayling, Shackleton, and Rafinha, which then allows Rafinha to get a bit of space. And obviously, he scores that goal. But before he scores that thunder bastard, I just want to discuss, and it's in the notes for a little bit later on, and we'll discuss another player after the Crewe game. I'm sure you can guess who that is. But Tyler Roberts on the Ben, me and Raggy had a little discussion in our WhatsApp group. Really good game. Impressed by him.
Set the world alight.
Good one.
Is that kind of player that it's always like he looks to do some good stuff, but then it never quite comes off.
This is the bit, right? So I agree that when he came on Saturday, he had a few he took up good places. He had a few nice touches where he opened the game up. And but for me, the frustrating thing about him and Elder Costa, we'll discuss after the Crewe game, is they do these great things every now and again. You think fantastic, and then they can't do the basics, which is a 5-yard pass, which is a cushioned header, which is a get the ball in the box, whatever it may be. And for me, like, yes, I thought he was bright when he came on. He caused them some problems because he took up spaces between the back 4 and the midfield 4.
Yeah.
But I saw one tweet that were like, he changed the game.
No.
And I would argue he didn't change the game. I think Shaq at right wing back kind of changed the game.
It tells you everything when all of our attacking comes from the wide areas. We never, play through the middle, and if we do, it's on the counter. And we were saying we were watching Roberts for a bit, just exclusively watching Roberts. You pointed out his movement, straight line, straight line, straight line, straight line. It's like, either come to the ball or, do something, catch the defense off. But he just, nothing for me.
I think we've said before, and like we've always talked about in this podcast, we're not here to dig players out because none of us have played at the Premier League level. And Roberts is a great footballer because he wouldn't be playing in the Premier League if not. But for me, I think it's quite important to distinguish between a bright game and a good game, because I think a good game as a 10 is you influence it, you get assists, you're playing, cutting, you're taking shot, whatever it may be. And for me on Saturday, he got some great spaces, good first touches, and all that type of stuff. But when it comes to the crunch, the final ball, it's that bit he seems to struggle with. Now, whether it's because he's not getting enough game time, he's lacking confidence, whatever it may be. If he could tidy up that last bit of his game, then I'd be like, all right, he's there to rival. But arguably as well, I'd say Rodrigo's in a similar boat, which is a little bit disappointing. A few times last night, gets into good areas and he just kind of fluffs his lines a little bit. And I think he needs a Burnley type performance from last year, Rodrigo, particularly. 100%. Score 2, and I think he'll be away. I think
express himself.
I think it's like hanging over him a little bit. But yes, I thought Tyler Roberts was bright on Saturday, but I don't really, and it's just my opinion before people send me death threats and stuff. I want a bit more from him.
Yeah,
I want a bit more from him.
There's a thing he does that, again, he's been doing it ever since I can remember watching him, is when he gets it cut back to him from Harrison, it's on the deck, and he side foots it rather than hitting it with his laces. He sort of leans back and side foots it as a shot, and it's like it worked in the Championship a couple of times. I think he scored against Blackburn and QPR, but it's the Premier. You need to put a bit of power on your shot and don't kick it at the goalkeeper. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's the basic stuff.
Yeah. I don't want people. I don't want people to think we're like. I haven't kind of given up on him, but still, if Saturday's a good performance, we still need more from him. Like, it's okay, but we need more than that.
If you're a Leeds fan and you actively want a Leeds player to fail, you're an idiot.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want any Leeds player to fail.
Exactly. We're in the same.
Apart from Giuseppe Bellucci, I really wanted him to fail when he were a Leeds player.
Yeah,
because you're a massive tool.
I was going to say, I said after the match, it just feels like there's a couple of players which they just feel like they're idling now that they've made it into the Premier League.
Yeah,
and they're not really like Harrison has just come on leaps and bounds. Same with Phillips. They're just not really quite improving like the rest of the squad.
Yeah,
and it definitely shows when you play up against a team like Everton, which is a little bit risky. If you miss that pass, they're going to punish you for it. And I just think Roberts comes into that.
Yeah, I want him to succeed. I want every player to succeed, but I also feel like we can't just say, "Oh, he was brilliant on Saturday" because he looked a bit bright. It should be that should be a base level, looking bright. You know, if he really wants to stake a claim for the 10 or the 9, then he needs to do the things that you'd expect of a 10 or a 9 from me. And again, I class Rodrigo in that as well, because we saw him last night against Crewe. He got 70 minutes, 75 minutes before he brought Bamford on. and the difference between Bamford and Rodrigo. But the difference was Bamford does the basics.
Yeah.
He holds it up, he lays it off, he gets himself into where he's going to be able to score a goal from.
Yeah.
You know, how many times did he get I know we've digressed, but we'll go back. How many times did he make UC Askelainen's son make a save? You know,
exactly.
Granted he's not going to score, but he made him do something. Whereas Rodrigo and Roberts before that were unable to do that. But anyway, let's go back to Everton.
Yeah.
It'd be very remiss of us to discuss the game without talking about Rafinha's Thunder Bastard.
Yeah.
Ben, again, coming to you, you were sat in the cop, so you had a better view of it from where you were.
Kind of like straight in front
You
of
say
me.
that, but even in the South Stand, you knew it was going in.
Yeah.
It was just one of them. The way he opened his body up, the way
It was sort of just like hovering around the back of the area after a corner. A ball in.
Ball in, Cooper knocks it down.
Like
Fantastic.
Cooper
Lays it
threw
off.
it, kind of just like fumbled it between them. It were a bit weird. And then it sort of just dropped to Cooper, and then Rafinha was just literally there on his own. And you thought, well, just give it to him.
Yeah.
And
I were
how we got it through all them players, I don't know.
I was listening to LS11 driving over, obviously with Ryan Wilson, that you can download that as well. And Ben Parker was saying that the difference between Rafinha and some other players that have took a touch there and tried to curl it and stuff, but he had the confidence just to sort of like inside foot thunder bastard it at the same time, if that makes sense. And at 2-2, then you kind of think we've got a chance here of winning this because we're then in the ascendancy at that point. So we talked about it briefly at the sort of beginning of the show. The last couple of minutes when Bamford appears to go down under a tackle from Yerry Mina. I got a few messages and photos and stills and all sorts of stuff on Saturday night about it. And a few sat in the camp of, it were a penalty, and a few sat in the camp of, do you know what, it's pretty soft. And I sit in the camp of, it's pretty soft. Bamford kind of waits for the contact and goes down before the contact kind of comes, if that makes sense.
I haven't seen it yet,
He is over the top of him, but Bamford kind of lets him, if that makes sense.
Yerry Mina he was on top of Bamford, like literally just laying on top of him, like half the. It's just, it was one of those things.
I think it sums it up, the fact that the final whistle blew near enough immediately, and Yerry Mina celebrated
in front
of at Bamford.
You know,
that shows you what you
really weird that, because I think he's in his head he was like, right, I'm going to try and shithouse the striker, play some mind games, and from minute one, like he was trying to get in his head.
He was trying to wind him up.
Bamford was shrugging it off. And he just continued that, and then I think he celebrated because he kept Bamford quiet, but it was 2-2. You know what I mean? Very weird.
I suppose there's the old thing, win your individual battles. I guess.
Yeah.
Mina did that.
Yeah, to be fair, he did keep Bamford fairly quiet, I suppose, but then again, there were times when Bamford kept Keane and Yerry Mina busy because they were both trying to mark him. So you could argue then that Bamford's doing a job on them too, because two of them are having to deal with him. Because it was one thing I noticed last night. We'll come on to Crewe in a minute when we've got some comments in. It's one thing. The difference when Bamford came on is in his physicality, and as a former crap centre half myself, I would hate to play against someone like that who just wants to constantly be like in your face and like nudging you, niggling at you, and like you don't take an heavy touch or he'll be on you, and and ultimately, that's why when we discussed on the other show, he's pretty irreplaceable at this moment in time.
As we saw as well, he'll come out wide, and if you're a centre back, you don't want to go out wide with him.
No,
you don't. If you're man marking him, you don't want to go out wide. You want to stay nice and central, and But he must be a nightmare. And he's got a turn of pace as well. He opens his legs up, and he's just boom,
gone, boom.
Vava boom,
boom. Yeah, good.
Lord Bamford.
Before we talk about the Crewe game, then we'll get a couple of comments that have been coming in. Jonathan Brooks says we can hear you. That's a good start.
It's
very helpful.
Talking about doing the basics.
Yeah, doing the basics. Yeah. Jason Taylor says, evening, chaps. Graham Langrish says, evening, fellas. Harry Chapman says, nothing beats Wednesday nights with a brew in a terrace mug and the Talking Shut podcast. Have a good evening, guys. Cheers, Harry. Top man.
Harry's just doing his sponsors for us, isn't he?
Yeah, Harry, you're winning there, mate.
Love it.
Paul Crooks on Facebook says, hi, lads. John Mattison says, can I get a shout out from his son, Michael Mattison, who turns 10 on Saturday? So happy birthday, Michael. Hope your dad's bought you every strip that's available to be purchased. Sorry for that, John. By the way, cop that. Paul Crooks says you can buy a Leeds flag on eBay for £5. Heard Leeds are selling the flags for £3. Yeah, on the official website, £3 and all.
Really?
All proceeds go to the foundation though, so it's a good thing.
Oh yeah, you'll be making a lot of money on them.
Kieran Harvey says, great to see the fans back. And now we're no longer Everton's fans' second team this year. We look so much better with Calvin back, made such a difference. It did make a difference. But again, I still feel like Calvin's got a couple more gears.
Yeah.
He was good last night. He was steady away against Everton, but I feel he's even got more than that. He's better than that as well.
Still nowhere near.
Stephen Osman says, if Shaqs gets more minutes, he will be a brilliant player if not injured. Do you know what? I think for me this year, Shackleton's just allowed us to have that freedom to go to 3 at back a bit more comfortably, but still keep an attacking threat in Haley and
always been a fan of Shackleton. And I'm so glad that he's finally got a solid role, because we were saying last season, like, where does he fit in the squad? What's his job? You know, is he back up to Ayling, or, you know, what is he, a right back?
I think he's a right back now, isn't he?
But the fact that he's now officially a right wing back, and it's very clear that he's got that job and he can focus on that, and it suits his physicality, it's perfect. Yeah, I'm really chuffed for him.
Yeah. So we got Tony Avercroft says, why didn't Somerville get some game time last night? I don't know. I mean, I did
ask Bielsa.
I did want him to come on, but I also kind of get it. Like, we were 0-0 against Crewe going into the last couple of minutes, and we're going to chuck an academy lad into 34,000 people who've never played at that sort of crowd before in a game that had a chance to end up at penalties and all that type of stuff.
I couldn't tell you what Feyenoord's fans are like.
I kind of get it a little bit why he didn't play.
And the thing is, look,
you look at the other subs we made anyway. Lorente obviously back from injury, came off at half time.
Rodrigo
makes sense.
It was all
Forshaw's first game back, 60 minutes.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Then you've got one more, which you're not winning against the League One side. You put your best striker on.
Of course you do, yeah.
Well, the thing, and like, we're not getting rid of Costa this window,
unfortunately.
So he has to get minutes in his legs, because he's going to be on the bench against Burnley. You know what I mean? He has to get time, and the senior squad that we've got, we have to use them all where we can, and that's just how it is, unfortunately.
Sandy Duncan says it wasn't a pen. Well, he said it wasn't, but I've added want. It wasn't a pen at the end of the Everton game, but what really annoyed me was the whistle was blown when our attack hadn't really finished. I'd not really picked up on that, but fair point.
Yeah, it did end a bit abruptly.
Yeah.
It seemed like there was that bit of a scuffle.
Yeah, and then it was over.
Stood up and carried on playing, and then whistle.
Dean Dakin says Bamford leads the line. Rod and Tyler just can't do the same job. The touch around the centre half last night was sublime. Yeah, and I think it kind of it kind of plays into then that Bamford is the only number 9, and it's a fight between Rodrigo and Tyler, who plays with Bamford.
Although Bamford did try that against Mina. I think it was against Mina. I think that's a slightly different
class of player.
A little bit.
I love when he does that. It just sent me right back to last season. I said to you when he did it, it's just like, I love when he does that.
Peter White says, hey up, lads. Hey up, Pete. Isham says, my worry is that if Rafinha or Harrison pick up an injury, we have no real backup to either of them. Somerville is still very unproven at this level. Agreed, but it could either be that surprise thing where he comes in and hits the world, running them by storm, or he might struggle. Lads, I still have a funny feeling that we might do something before window closes. I know the club have come out and said no. I know Phil has said no a few times. But if 4 numpties sat around the table, sorry, Harry, you're a numpty now. If 4 of us sat around the table here can see that we kind of could do with some more options off at bench, despite what Bielsa sees. If that deal comes up where there's an option for it, I mean, the club's stance at the minute is we're not doing no. Everything seems to point, apart from Leo Ajeldi coming in from Celtic, that's it done.
Yeah.
But that's as it stands now, in my opinion.
His name changes every time you say it.
Does it? Yeah. So Liam Eldeldo from Celtic. But no, I can't help but feel that as this window trickles on a little bit, deals will start to feed through. Players will want to get out on loan, and you never know, that deal might come available that we want to provide a bit of competition in the wide areas.
I think, it's that same old thing, isn't it? Playing our cards close to our chest.
A little bit.
I kind of like the fact that we're trying to fight for every. It seems like we're trying to fight for every million now. It's like whether we sign somebody. We've just seen the guy we were linked with, Maxwell Cornet, is going to Burnley for 15 million.
Can you imagine being linked to Leeds and then having to turn up at Burnley?
Him turning up. But that's the thing, isn't it? It's like, would we have paid 15 million for him?
So when Cornet go directly up against Charlie Taylor then, left back at Burnley? That's pretty much it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, well, they play wing for Burnley.
He got converted,
like a Burnley
converted
defender
to a left back.
Yeah.
But
But maybe he's traditionally a winger, so it might.
But then thingy,
he won't be an attacking fullback, really. He won't be.
There's that guy who plays
like a Burnley way.
There's that Dwight Neal plays that left for them, doesn't he? So I don't know. Interesting to see what happens with that deal, whether it falls flat on its face or.
But we've been seeing like players we've been linked with.
Yeah, Matthias Cunha's joined Atletico Madrid.
They've all been moving, and it's like, are we just trying to?
Team Talk today linked us with Daryl Dike from Orlando City.
Oh God,
hold on. Oh no, that didn't work. Hold on.
For God's sake!
I think you wanted the laughing one.
I did. I know.
Yeah. That's aliens.
That one. That's quite suitable.
Yeah.
I don't think we're signing him, Daryl Dike. No, I don't see where he fits in whatsoever.
But I think that it is us just trying to play the field and play the market and try and why pay 20 million when you can get them for 15?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a suck it and see kind of thing. Let's see what happens when the window shuts. I still feel like if there's a deal to be done for somebody we want, Leeds will try and do it. Like a la Rafinha. I think the noise before Rafinha was that we weren't going to do anything, or we were going to do Cousins and that were going to be it, and then we went and did Rafinha. So I don't know. Let's wait and see. I might be just being a little bit over hopeful.
It's optimistic though. It's a good way to look at it,
I think. Final comments then. Sven says Ejeldi's dad played for Forest in the 90s. I didn't know that. I know the Celtic fans have labelled him the next Virgil van Dijk, but that can't be true because he already plays for Leeds in Pascal Strike. So can't be true. Can't be true. Right then, moving on then to the Crewe game last night where we witnessed it from the Cop this time, didn't we? Changed ends. Ari and Mike, and Ben in his normal season ticket haunt, I would imagine.
Yep.
For me, Crewe came with a game plan. Break up play wherever possible. If we get any head of steam, stop the game with the budget. B&M's Alioski, who were playing up front, who's Ben Knight, who's on loan from Man City, which came as a great shock to me on my own.
Alioski,
good work. Nice. Good work. And they came to break it up, play for set pieces, up to either nick one on counter and then put two banks of 5 in front of everything, or get to penalties and have the lottery of a penalty shootout. And I'll be honest, about 70 minutes, about 80 minutes-ish, or just before we scored the first goal through Calvin, I did start thinking, it could just be one of them nights. They either sucker punches on counter or they beat us on pens. I said that to me,
I says, this is just going to end up one way.
1-0,
they'll proper shit house this.
Yeah.
They did have a chance, like quite near then. I think quite a good shot. That
Melia makes a save.
They had one shot on target, and it's that one shot on target that you think they're going to square it, and it's going to get
it's going to bounce up or off an header or something ridiculous. Anyway, but good, some positive signs from the game, obviously, despite winning 3-0 and getting 3 points in the Carabao Karen Kearney Cup. Firpo gets a full 90 minutes in front of Jack Harrison, behind Jack Harrison, sorry, we'll talk about in a minute. And we saw the return of Adam Forshaw after so long out. He came on talking Shutt and then never played football again, which is quite sad for the lad.
Quite a bit of a curse.
No, all joking apart, we've talked about it a couple of times on the show. I'm dead chuffed to see him back. Just playing football. Because at the end of the day, if your job is to play football, but you can't actually do it because your body's collapsing, it must be quite a mental task to get your head around, not become sort of the one who's just putting oranges out.
It's a position where you're going to get knocks and scrapes, and you're going to get battered about a bit. So he's got, all that to go with as well.
I think for me, last night when I kind of thought, he's all right. He put a big tackle in on the halfway line. I don't think he got anywhere near the ball, but he ended up in like a pile with a Crewe player on top of him. And I thought, he's confident enough to throw himself about like that. He must be feeling quite strong. So, good to see him back. Diego Llorente came back in at centre-half.
I remember that challenge, actually, where 2 of them went in together, and I was just expecting to see Farshaw's hip just go flat.
Yeah.
See you later, mate.
But thankfully it didn't.
Nice new golden hip.
Yes.
Diego Llorente got a bit first centre-back on team sheet for me going forward. His distribution's disgusting, really, for a centre-half. That one crossfield ball he did was ridiculous.
He has the leadership that we can't... If we didn't have Llorente, it's the leadership that you only really get from Cooper.
And he's got a bit of I know I mentioned it before and it's very cliche. He's got a bit of devilment. I like it. I like the fact that he gets angry about stuff. Yeah. I like a bit of that. You've got
usually if Phillips has missed, if Phillips has missed something, then Llorente just bombs in and hoops it away.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And last night at Crewe, they obviously Will Jaskalainen, son of Jussi, famous Bolton goalkeeper. their game plan from set pieces was to kick it to the big lad who knocked it onto Alioski.
Yeah.
And last night they had it to a T. Either Strike went up and won the header and Llorente covered in behind, or Llorente won the header and Strike covered in behind. And even when they came off, Alien just filled in where Llorente were doing. Strike went to win the header, they cleared up behind, and they had it pretty much down to a T.
Yeah, there was a bit of a wayward back pass from Strauch, wasn't there?
Yeah.
At one point, it maybe took a bobble or something, but I think it was never going in. It was going wide.
Yeah, we're in front of Cop.
But Melier was like, switch on.
Couldn't say I had tears in my eyes at the time.
Yeah.
But that's another story that we won't talk about. Yeah. So yeah, all in all, in the hat for the next set of 3 points in the Vietnamese energy drink trophy.
Did you want to mention the lovely lady?
Oh yeah. So I obviously don't mention it on the show. For those who
Lady Harewood,
for those who
got on the field.
Yeah. So we were sat watching the game and I was looking around quite a lot in the game last night to mainly get some fresh air. And there was a woman on the top of the police box that's in the corner of the West Stand.
On top of it?
On top of it, mate.
All right.
On top of it, almost like gonna do a photo for the gram, as in like t-shirt hooked up a little bit, like foot in front of it, like a bit of a pose on. But by the time she's getting gestured over by a load of stewards, so like I think the ball were dead. So I'm like watching this because it's quite funny. Yeah. And they managed to get her over and they rag her out and she's waving to Cop and all this sort of carrying on. And then she gets chucked out. And I says to these two, she's gone like the void out. Yeah. Start watching game. Next thing, she's on pitch. Yeah. Trying to hook her t-shirt up. Steward shouting her over. She dropped her shoulder at a turn of pace. We ran away from one of them.
It took two of them to get her. I saw it from there. Yeah, it took two of them to get them over advertising.
Yeah, she did that thing if you're trying to baff your dog where they put the legs out right wide so they go back. She was like doing that on audience, trying not to get dragged back over. So yeah, it was quite hilarious to be fair. To be honest,
the game was still going as well while she was on the field.
Yeah. I think Luke Ayling was just warming up at sideline, wondering what the hell was going on.
Yeah, I think Luke Ayling sort of came out of the subs bench to see what was going on.
Yeah, I think he might have done as well. Yeah.
Speaking of people that got on the pitch, did you notice the guy at full time?
No.
I don't think many people did because they weren't like, so all the players are sort of shaking hands and what have you. And the guy had just walked onto the pitch with his phone and he's videoing himself.
Oh, really?
And going around like this. And only one steward noticed and sort of went over to him and sort of ushered him off.
Yeah. Wow.
General sale.
I'm sure he was like a fan. He looks like a fan.
I saw on Twitter today a fan posting about thanks to the steward in the East Stand who let my son stand on the audience. If you were in Cop, the stewards at the front there, it was like you were trying to get out of Alcatraz. There was no way you were getting near any sort of sponsorship.
That's
hoarding.
Because of that.
Yeah,
woman, because of the stewards meet.
Yeah, well, there were a bit of a mess on Saturday about getting out of the ground as well with the sort of because where the disabled fans come out.
Yeah,
it's like pretty much where the away fans, all the coaches are now.
Isn't it? Yeah.
And they wouldn't let there's like so you come out the corner of the West Stand with the North Stand. There's a gate there, and then the disabled parking's next to that.
Yeah.
So there's the gate, but they locked this gate because the Everton fans could have come out of these gates where all the coaches were.
Yeah.
But my argument was, I don't think that these Everton fans are going to come out and start beating up disabled people.
No,
you don't know.
Well, yeah,
it's bad form.
It wouldn't be good, would it?
It was raining. There was people obviously disabled.
Raining.
People.
It was like a monsoon from Jumanji.
Exactly. Yeah. And there was disabled people, obviously not great on the feet or whatever. Yeah. And having them stand there in the rain, not being able to get to the cars or transport or whatever.
Yeah, it would have been.
It just wasn't very good management.
No. One other bit rusty. One other real props from the game at Everton was. We were only one of 3 cars who didn't get a parking ticket where we parked. 45 others did. Yeah. So like small victories and all that. But yeah. So into the next round in the Crewe game, 3-0 victory in the end, pretty easy. Jackie Harrison with 2 and Calvin with a goal from a set piece.
How good was Jack Harrison? I know it was.
How good is Jack Harrison? Yeah, incredible in both games. Yeah, I agree. He appears to have found some more pace from somewhere, and he can beat him. Well, he beat like 6 men at once. Yeah, he did. And that's what we've always said was lacking from his game. Yeah, but his ability to beat a man. Yeah, and he beat 6.
It's exciting stuff.
It's and 11 million quid's just crazy to think that. Obviously, minus Damari Gray, but we talked about him earlier. It will be 40 million quid, and then you've got Jack Harrison for 11 million, and he did more in 90 minutes than Iwobi did.
I think on that left hand side as well. I think Firpo, Bielsa knows it as well. That's why he played him. But Firpo needs fitness.
He needs games. He
needs games, and that'll come.
I suppose maybe it is a bit fitness because there were a point last night where everyone was sort of bombing forward for Crewe, and then
Firpo was behind Harrison.
Yeah, we saw that.
Are you chasing that, mate?
Yeah,
No?
Firpo's knackered, so Harrison's picking up Firpo's man and his own man. But it doesn't help Firpo's case that he's on that wing with Harrison.
Yeah, the fitness,
highlighting our own fitness.
I guess, physical fitness, but then the sort of playing fitness as well, playing with Leeds United. It's going to take some time for him to settle into that, and I think we've seen little glimpses of that he's a good player.
Oh yeah,
but it's just going to take a little bit more time.
Well, a couple of times last night against Crewe, he got in behind into good positions. Right
at the byline.
He's obviously strengths is going forward, and his defense will need some work, like Alioski's did, obviously. But I thought there's no to worry. I mean, I tweeted about it. I need to stop tweeting after games, especially after Budweiser and games. But somebody put, I don't think Firpo's much of an upgrade on Alioski. Played up until playing last night, he played 90 minutes total of football in a Leeds shirt.
Yeah. So he hasn't played a lot, but I just feel so much more at ease with a proper left back.
He looks like a left back,
And Alioski was torn between wing or left back.
Or crowd.
But Firpo
Or Shekin Tunnel.
As a solid left back, it just feels so much better.
Yeah. And I think defensively
it'll be better in the air as well, because obviously he's got a couple of foot on Alioski. So just wait and see. It'll come. I'm sure it will.
Yeah. So happy all in all then. A draw against Everton, which I felt I felt happy with the draw, but probably felt like we could have won it. Ben, would you agree with
we could have at the end?
Comment?
Harrison had that shot on goal, didn't he? Right at the end, but he kicked it at Rafinha, who was on the deck.
If we'd have won, I don't think there'd have been many complaints. I think we sort of it was close, but we kind of just edged it.
Yeah.
Just been the better side, and
I agree. Michael Brown, everybody needs a team of Michael Browns, said, that's what Alioski had in spades, bombing up and down the touchline, helping out Harrison. Yeah, so did Adi Sacco as well, but, that's not really a barometer.
Yeah, it's one of those, I mean, you do still think, like, Alioski, just for his pace and work rate, like, he could still do a job.
Yeah, Costa, there's no doubt about it. But if
he did. He literally did.
100% Firpo based on what we've seen already and what we know from his time at Betis, not so much Barca because he didn't really work out for it.
Yeah.
You've got to say that 100% Alioski versus 100% Firpo, who's versed in playing BL. You've got to think that Firpo's
he don't look it, but Firpo's a bit younger. Is he quite a bit younger
25,
as well?
25.
So
it was his birthday.
5 years younger.
Today, I think.
5 years younger.
Yeah.
Don't look it.
Yeah, exactly.
That moustache.
It is, mate. It is. Isham says Harrison deserved a lot of credit for how he's evolved since his first season with us. It's a shame that we've not really seen the same level of progress from Costa and Roberts. Yeah, it's a fair point.
That's what we're saying. Yeah,
it's a fair point. Right then, before we move on to some other news, we need to hear from one of our sponsors. Because Harry's here, we might pick on Harry and ask him how his knackers. No, we're not going to do that.
So yeah, it's arrived. Have a look. So, from our new sponsors at Manscapped, where we can offer you 20% off with SHAVINGSHUTT discount code. Let's see what we've got. So, little bag, we'll look at that in a bit. Some large boxer shorts, other sizes are available. Now we're into the hardware. Got shower-friendly knacker trimmer, including LED light. 7,400 RPM, so the little leaflet thing tells you. Bit of ball toner. Game changer. Bit of anti-chafing ball deodorant. Made without sulfates, parabens or dyes. Gentle on the skin. Let's see what's in this little bag. It's only a game changer. You can store it on your bedside table. So, Manscaped. Your balls will thank you. 20% off with SHAVINGSHUTT at checkout. Go check them out, manscaped.com.
So yeah, you've got to leave guard on. You'll cut yourself if you don't put guard on.
So I wanted a really close
really close trim for impression.
Yeah.
You just got to be careful though.
Press all them girlfriends.
You've got to like straighten the skin out. You can't leave it curled up.
It's a ball bag.
Yeah, if you squeeze the skin around the ball, it comes taut.
Does it?
Yeah, it's simple
You need to see my balls, Gav. Jesus Christ.
Is it a two-man job? Mike, come on. Give your brother a hand. Anyway, back for the new season with us are the guys at Manscaped. Join over 2 million men who've joined the Manscaped revolution for the new football season. And your balls will thank you if you take up an offer with Manscaped with their Lawnmower 4.0. And we can offer you a discount. So when you get to Manscaped, order whatever you want. When you get to checkout, just bob in, Shaving Shut, get 20% off and free shipping anywhere in the world. Dom won't like us mentioning that, will he? Dominic.
Even like Antarctica.
Yeah. Because we have sent a couple to Australia. Well, we haven't sent them. Manscaped have.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for Manscaped for joining us. And they are a good bit of kit, to be fair. Good products. They even got like nostril trimmers and that now as well. So yeah, get involved. Manscaped.com. Moving on then, lads. Dav said Roberts assisted for both Harrison's goals last night. I don't think having a shot and the keeper saving it deems as an assist.
That's not an assist. It's a shot on target
that the keeper then posts.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite having that one, to be honest.
That first Harrison goal was very nice.
I thought he'd overtouched
very
it, but as Mike pointed out, he'd done it on purpose to draw the keeper and then dink it over him. So yeah, pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Nice to see Luke Murphy back. Looking a bit less like a llama this time around. When he had like big fluffy hair, looked like a llama.
It looks very like Luke Murphy though, like a little jog on the side step.
Yeah.
It's like going side to side on pitch.
It was genuinely like he were at Leeds in bad times when we were. When
he took a wage defer.
And you've got to like respect that a little bit. I think he even said in some interviews like this is the biggest club I'll ever play for, kind of thing. So I think he said it when he took his wage cut to sign a new deal. I think that was kind of what he got. So yeah, fair play to him.
It was nice the sort of reception.
He got a nice warm applause, didn't he? So,
they were all singing he's one of our own, and then Gaz went, you can have him.
Keep him. That's fine. We're not that bothered. Credit Crewe fans, they were a lot louder than the Everton fans.
The bar's quite low.
The bar was very low. A lot of pyro again, interestingly.
That's going to be. I think that's going to be.
I noticed at one point where they'd let a pyro off, and I thought, have they just let it off because they're not scoring?
Yeah. They're like celebrating a substitution. Well, let's get a pyro. Yeah. So anyway, moving on.
Just set it off.
Moving on to slightly other news and then talking about the Crewe games. I'm going to come to you, Ben, because I feel like you'll be very opinionated on this. Helder Costa. The riddle of Helder Costa. He's more likely going to be here. So how do we mend Helder Costa?
Imagine it's Football Manager.
I don't know.
Make him into a footballer.
I'm going on editor and I'm just releasing him. Football Manager. Every time
hold on. Before you get in. You use editor and Football Manager?
Only to release Helder Costa.
All right, fair dues.
I don't want to pay him off. You don't deserve that.
No. Yeah, fair.
The problem with Helder Costa is every time he plays, I think, go just show what you can do. Like, he's got pace. He can pass a player with his pace, knock it past him. And,
tricky feet.
Yeah. But then you just don't see it, and every time, and within 20 minutes, just thinking, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. There were a point last night where we worked it out wide in front of where we were sat, and he got one-on-one with left back, and I was screaming at him.
We were all
take him on, and he just went back, and that's the bit that frustrates me,
especially because their fullbacks were blowing out their asses.
Yeah, they were.
And you think if there's ever a chance, it's got to be a League One.
And this is it.
That Callum McFadden's about 400 years old.
Yeah. You're playing in teams like this. You're clearly a standard a lot higher.
Yeah.
You get paid a lot more money. You've been bought for 15 million.
Yeah.
You should have a lot more skill than these players, and it should really be a field day for you.
Yeah.
But you're not doing that.
Exactly.
It said a lot for me when Ayling had carried the ball forwards right to the edge of the box. He looked to his right. There was Costa there in plenty of space.
Yeah, he didn't pass
and then he looked left to see who else was there.
I noticed that. I said that.
But ultimately, he's going to stay here. So what does Bielsa need to do? Does he need to get Rob Price with his cleaver and put some new body parts on?
That tonight we draw another crap team and he can play him for 90 minutes again. Because that's what he needs. That's what he's going to do.
The thing is, as
Costa's been here for what, 3 years now?
3 years now,
yeah.
What more can Bielsa do?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, again, I don't want it to sound like we want him to fail. We don't want him to fail, but it's a bit frustrating that he can be better than that. Surely,
it feels like as well. I mean, when you watch like the training videos and the stuff behind the scenes and all that stuff, it feels like if there's one member of the squad that's not gelling and not getting in with the banter and all that stuff, it's Costa. Like, there just feels like there's something psychological there that's just, he knows he's underperforming, obviously, because he's had great seasons with Wolves and all that stuff. I think he knows that there's something missing, and he feels bad about it or whatever. He feels like he's dead weight. But whenever
if
we
you're
score,
in that situation, aren't you I guess it means someone would have to want to buy you. But
Yeah.
Well, Valencia do, allegedly.
Well, if Valencia want to buy him and
Sell.
it's obviously not working for him here,
Yeah.
I think I'd rather take him not being here and we get the money, even if we don't buy anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's chuck that to people who are watching live. If you're watching live now, would you let him leave without?
I don't mean that in a harsh way as that he's a shit footballer, but if it's not working
For him
mentally
personally,
for him and whatever, it's clearly not working on the pitch.
Yeah.
For us,
there's a bit more clarity for the rest of the players then as well.
Yeah,
there is that place to fill, and so if Somerville does want to,
well, it's Rafinha's spot, isn't it? Like, yeah, like you said, if it's Somerville or Amari Miller or,
yeah, I think Somerville's the closest to rivaling, coming on that side. Anyway,
yeah.
We'll have to wait and see what kind of occurs with them. In other news, Jan Paveda has gone out on loan to Blackburn.
Yes.
Leeds made a very obvious point by getting the press to get this out there as well, that he will be coming back next year and he will be part of it next year. And
I think it's a good move for him.
I agree.
He can go
Fantastic.
somewhere.
I agree.
Play 46 games, or a bit less because they've played a few now already. But
yeah,
play every game and grow up.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
well,
I agree.
A lot of people comparing it with like Harvey Elliott at Liverpool last season.
Bit reaching, but because
but Blackburn are a great team to go on loan to.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I totally agree.
They'll teach him to muscle players and just give him some end.
And
product.
as daft as it gets, as daft as it sounds as well, in that Blackburn team, it'll rely a little bit more on physicality.
Yeah.
So he will get knocked about a little bit, which might be good for him. Like,
yeah.
I'll be honest, I'll be watching Blackburn games with interest to see how he gets on, because I want to see some end product from him.
Yeah. If it is, because they've lost Armstrong, so you expect him to be that kind of winger that they can, play him off the shoulder, hoof ball, get him in behind, and like you say, give him some goals and assists, and hopefully he kicks on, because there's potential there. There's mountains of potential. It's just,
and there's some decent players for him to play with there. I mean, Brereton's a not bad player.
I was going to say they're getting all the South American talent, aren't they?
Yeah.
Brereton Diaz.
Oh, them they're
Brereton
like
Diaz.
half South American.
Yeah.
You've got to call him Brereton Diaz. It's not just Ben Brereton anymore. It's Ben Brereton Diaz.
Yeah,
it's got to be that. It's like you've got back his shirt now.
Yeah, you were born in Stoke, but
Bradley Dack as well, when his kneecaps are mended.
Yeah,
when he manages to pull him back round front.
El Dack,
baller.
Yeah, no,
it's an interesting.
He'll have a good season.
23's played Spurs the other day. Unfortunately, fell to a 4-2 defeat, despite very much being on top. And I watched a bit of the game, and it felt to me a little bit like Leeds had lots of chances, couldn't quite take them. Spurs got 4 chances and took all 4 of them. That's kind of how it felt throughout the game. But again, another good experience for the young lads of playing against Jack Clark. Jack Clark were back up at Thorpe Arch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he played. Yeah. They'll move
well,
on.
again, their goal would just be consolidation. Just stay in that league. Keep the revenue coming in, keep the investment coming in, and develop.
So, looking ahead, then this coming Sunday, Bank Holiday Sunday, we travel over to Turf Moor to face Sean Dyche as Burnley. I don't like them.
They did. What were it last year? They sort of act like the big hard men, but then cry all the time when they get it.
Yeah, they were. But and I think Dyche, with the sort of relaxing of the referee thing, it'll suit him, because he'll send his team out to be aggressive and be physical. And
there's a very fine line though, because they have blown for some. They haven't let everything go. Have they?
No.
I think if you're being over, I think that for me it'll work against that. And I think I saw a bit of the game against Liverpool for Burnley. It works against them in a way.
Yeah, because they're too focused on
too aggressive.
Yeah.
And it's like,
well, again,
obvious.
If you want to give away loads of free kicks in dangerous areas, then go for it, because we'll take them. I'm not expecting anything. I'm expecting like Crewe again.
You think?
Yeah, I'm expecting that kind of game.
I wonder if Maxwell Cornet will play, or be in and around it.
Surely he has to go through 6 weeks of pre-season.
What with Dyche? What is that like? Stout in the morning, beef dripping at dinner, tackling, tackling.
I'm keen to see where
heading, tackling.
I want to know where he's got him living.
Well, can you remember the famous story about Middlesbrough?
Do they have penthouses in Burnley?
He commutes in from Chester.
Well, yeah, he will do, innit? Can you remember the stories from Middlesbrough and they signed Ravanelli and Giannini and all that? They flew them beyond Middlesbrough and brought them back in the scenic route rather than past ICI, the blooming chemical plant or whatever. Yeah, so
frogged him.
No frogging. So yeah, Burnley Spring weekend. We'll get into Raggy's predictor done by me in a bit, but should it be a game that we're looking to beat? We're looking to win Burnley. I know that's like a bit of a rhetorical question, but like it'll not be an easy game. No, it'll not be an easy game.
We made a meal of it at the home fixture, didn't we?
Yeah, but
that was 1-0.
Then
we were lucky.
Rodrigo arseholed them, didn't he?
Well, they had Peacock Farrell in there, didn't they, as well?
So. Oh yeah. He's by the way, he's getting rave reviews at Sheffield Wednesday. My Sheffield Wednesday mates love him.
Yeah,
finally met his match. I think found his level.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah,
of course it does.
Yeah, no, I'm fully. First goal's all that matters.
Yeah, very important.
Then they can't sit back, and then we can just hit them on the counter. It's that same thing.
What's the lineup then? Harry coming to you as guest for this evening. What's the lineup?
So obviously Melia in net.
Yeah.
I think then we've got. I think Firpo left back. It's going to be Cooper and Struick in the middle. Ayling, Phillips. We'll have Harrison on the left, obviously. I think for me, the next question is Click or Rodrigo in the middle. I think it's probably going to be Click.
Yeah.
Team would probably.
Although,
Dallas.
I suppose he did play more up front, didn't he? Did he?
Yesterday.
No, Rodrigo against Burnley last time.
Played up front, came on for Bamford.
Yeah.
And just.
I'd probably do that then, yeah. I think Bamford starts, definitely.
Just went peak. Peak Rodrigo. Yeah, I'd go similar. It will be Cooper. And do you know? I don't know. I'd be very. I wouldn't be surprised if it were Cooper and Llorente and Struick drops out, which would be very harsh on him. But it wouldn't surprise me because Cooper's his club captain. He loves him, despite what people may think of him. He loves him. Llorente, if he's fit, has got to play, and I think he might drop Struick out.
As much as it doesn't really make sense, because I think Struick's a better player.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And when you're dealing with Chris Wood throwing his weight about, you need Struick's just got more
true.
About him.
But I was going to sort of go on to Firpo. Still needs to sort of settle into this side. Is it a bit better having someone like Cooper, a bit more experience, the captain and what have you? I mean, I'd go Struick all day long. But
I would.
I'm just thinking, is that his thought in
well, I think Cooper should have a good game against Burnley. I think he's at a level where he can.
It might kind of suit him,
yeah.
I mean, if it were my choice, it'd be Llorente and Struick. I think he will put Cooper.
It sounds like we're saying like Cooper struggles in the Prem. He's perfectly capable of being a lower Premier League defender. Yeah. He's had great games last season. He should be fine. Like, I think centre back's the least of our worries. I think it's that the 8 and 10.
So let's
attack is where.
So we've heard Harry's. I personally think on Sunday, I think he will go Phillips in the holding, and I think he'll go Dallas and Click in there.
Yeah, Dallas and Click.
Because Click were fantastic against Everton. Yeah. Rodrigo weren't particularly fantastic against Crewe last night. Can't leave Stuart Dallas out. Yeah, unfortunately.
Energy for days.
Energy for days. And let's be honest, the plan will be to move Burnley around on Sunday and tire them out because they're not going to be as fit as us. Tire them out and pick them off. So I won't be surprised if the game goes on and on and on and it's 0-0 or it's a bit cagey and then we kind of come into it. And then you kind of look at it and think that suits Rodrigo coming on when the game opens up a little bit and maybe in for Click or whatever. So I kind of think it'll be that. But
I think you bring Rodrigo on when we want to work it through the middle a bit more because the game plan from the get-go will be work it out wide and cross it in. And against Burnley, you can already see it. They're going to be heading it, play right into their hands. But if we can tire them out, get Rodrigo on, play it through the middle, tricky footwork, on the counter, goals for days.
Agreed, Ben?
Yeah. So I think it'll be very similar to Crewe.
It'll not be too far away from Crewe. So shall we get some Raggy's predictor then?
If we can get the right thing, yeah.
You had one job.
Raggy's predictor.
So obviously the main man with his predictor's not here this week. He's away with work. He gets deducted a point from his own predictor because he hasn't sent us the prediction league table, has he?
No.
He hasn't sent us the league table. He sent us his prediction, but not the league table. So we'll deduct him a point straight away, whatever it may be. But looking forward to the game against Burnley then. Raggy will sort of catch up all the league table stuff. Harry, you get to give the guest slot. We've not had one this season yet. So Leeds Burnley at Turf Moor. How do you see it going?
I think for the first probably 60, 70 minutes, it's going to be 0-0. Very much like Crewe. I think it is going to be that, patient game after time out before we start getting into the space. And I'm feeling a 2-0 for Leeds.
Okay. Ben?
I think I might go 3-0.
You're 3-0. Raggy actually went 2-1 Leeds in the WhatsApp group earlier. Mike, what are you going for?
Yeah, I think 2-0 suits me. I think that the difference between them having Peacock Farrell in net and having Nick Pope in net is about 2 goals.
Right, I'm going to go Leeds United 3, Burnley 1. And I'm going to go like this. Burnley will score first. We'll level it. We'll go in front. Burnley will then have to push on to try and get it. We'll get him on counter and get a third just to kind of see it off.
I hope Bamford scores.
I do, yeah. He needs a goal, I think, to just accept, the work is done. So a few comments coming in on the Facebook and YouTube. Graham Langish says it'll be the same 11 that start as the Everton game, all being fit. It's the Bielsa way. Mark Jones says it'll be 3-1 Leeds. Stuart Charleston said it'll be 3-1 Leeds. Graham again says it'll be 2-1 Leeds. And John Smith, who asked me earlier if I'd finally dried out from Saturday because I met him before the game, just is the answer. He's also gone 3-1 Leeds. And, a big shout out to John, actually, and his son who's playing in a tournament on Sunday for Peterborough. So John can't make it to the game, so I'm going in his place. And Andy Bentley has gone 4-1 Leeds. So, we'll have to wait and see on that one. Moving on to our other favourite segment then this week, and it's a little bit one-sided, but we'll have a bit of this.
Shithouse of the week.
The Shithouse of the week.
Seamless,
segment.
that one.
Seamless, mate. Seamless. Yeah. We'll tee it up better next week. So nominations this week for the Shithouse of the week. The person who's annoyed us the most in the last week is Richarlison, for obvious reasons, rolling around on the floor. Every touch, crying, and then having the fucking audacity to post on Instagram a picture of him with the ball at his feet and 5 Leeds players around him, and then claiming he was like prime Nielsen when literally 1 second later he was laid on the floor and Leeds broke away and got, I think, a decent attack. So
prime shithousery that.
If he played for us,
he won't play for us, would he?
Would you just? I'd just get frustrated with it. I mean, I got frustrated last night. I can't remember. I think Rodrigo went down.
Yeah.
And he didn't really seem to be touched. I'm just like, get the fuck up.
One thing we noticed about Richarlison in second half when we were attacking Cop End, there was one attack that broke down and he had a full-on 4-year-old Paddy. Like literally, like
you could see
stamping his feet,
body language,
swinging his arms around,
like sulking,
and literally, like honestly, like a petulant child. And I thought, you fucking wanker.
You spoilt brat.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin for his celebration, and a big shout out to the lady.
Shushing everyone.
What's that all about? And like some. Going back to the Everton fans as well, and we hadn't added them, but like they were silent all day. And then the day after the game, loads of Everton fans, normally with a picture like Mason Allgate as they have on Twitter, started giving it bigging about Leeds fans and shushing Dominic Calvert-Lewin. When in reality, they were saying, who the fucking hell are you, to like Lucas Digne or someone else.
To be fair, on the Calvert-Lewin as well, on the social media front, he put his caption was something to do with like, glad to see the away, like the away fans like back in full force. I'm like, were you at the game? Like, what are you on about?
But big shout out to the lady who sits in the disabled bit in the cop who gave him the rods as he ran off to celebrate, and the guy rubbing his belly when he was taking the penalty. Big shout out to them. They're good shithouses. Yerry Mina, for obvious reasons, just being a bit weird, to be fair. He went a bit Alioski, didn't he? Like doing daft shit,
fully,
like armpit rubbing and grabbing his ear and just weird shit like that. So weirdo. The shit Alioski, or Aldioski as we've nicknamed him, Ben Knight, the lad who played for Crewe on loan from Manchester City, just for basically falling down on the floor all the time about nothing, and then coming off and then going back on and falling down again, and then
was it 4 times he came off and
went back on?
3 or 4
I
times.
think he died 3 times.
Yeah. We should have.
To be fair, clinically
to be fair, last night I were on the waiting for him to get mended again. And I remember thinking this would be a good sketch for a podcast where we'll have a minute's silence for him. Because he got reincarnated, but thankfully I forgot. And then my personal nomination, I picked this up Monday morning listening to TalkSport on my way into work. It's not normally me listening of choice, but my work vehicle only has like gas radio, so I have to listen to something, and I can't do with one size fits all, great hits FM and all like that, because it's just pants, so I have to force myself. And to be fair, Laura Woods is pretty good on breakfast show. We Ali McCoy. I actually quite like listening to him. So the first thing Monday morning, one of the headlines on TalkSport was that Jurgen Klopp and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer were not happy about how much the referees were letting go in terms of in their games. And the reason that is because they've had their own way for too long. Being able to influence games by throwing themselves on the floor, initiating contact, all this type of shit. And now the tides have turned. They don't like it. So they'll start talking about player safety. And we'll go back to like Lee Johnson when Berardi head tapped that kid on nose. And he said, he's broke his face. His face is hanging off. He's broke all his face. And then he played next week. Perfectly fine. So they're definitely going in there just for the audacity to feel like they deserve to influence refereeing decisions because it suits their agenda. That's what I'm chucking in there. So, any more to add? Anyone?
No, I don't think so.
No.
We've been banned off from doing any.
Yeah, we're not doing any of them. We've done last week. So, who are we giving it to, lads? Richarlison, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Mina, Alioski, Klopp, Solskjaer, for moaning about refs. Who shall we get to?
I'm going Richarlison because he's a prick.
Fair. So I'm going Alioski because he's a prick, but he's also a Crewe
and a prick.
Everton.
Yeah,
and the fact that he clapped the booze.
He
was like lapping it up. I was like, you're probably like.
There's a fine.
I think that's fair play to that. If you're being a prick, own it.
There's a fine line between appreciating being a prick and just going a bit too far over where you just become a bit of a knob.
Like the frosted tips, the white wrist, bandage. I was like, what? Has he done that on purpose or what? Because
he must have done.
Maybe he's like that, and if he's going to be a prick, then go with it. Like
he's got posters of Alioski on his wall.
But Richarlison were a prick, but I don't think he's a prick.
Yeah, he's unconsciously a prick, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's a £60 million prick,
allegedly.
I was fully expecting the Alioski, if he scored, to come up and do that.
Like, with his tongue out,
I'll go with Richard.
One other that's just jumped into my head as well before we ask Gary his nomination was Mikel Antonio for picking up the cardboard cutout of himself pretending to be Patrick Swayze on Dirty Dancing with his own cutout. Yeah, he had a cutout strategically placed for a goal celebration, and he ran over and picked it up. So that's pretty shitty. So, Harry, who are you going for, mate? Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, Mina, Alioski, Klopp, Solskjaer, and I've just bobbed in Mikel Antonio.
I'm torn between Mina and Richarlison. Richarlison
Mina
for the photo, because that is horrendous. But Mina for the kick out.
Because Mina just dragged on all game,
and he got us on. He got us on Match of Day, Mike, didn't he?
He did,
giving him some choice words after he went down when Bamford touched his face. Briefly. So
he did that a lot. He did a lot of fake punches, did Mina? Going down, holding his
ear.
That's the.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like, have Everton got some kind of sponsorship deal with some dentist?
Yeah, maybe.
Because there were a lot of sort of going down, holding the mouths.
So
it's Mina for me.
It's a tight one this week.
If you can combine Richarlison, Mina, and Digne for the lighter thing, if you can combine all them three,
Everton.
So just saying Everton then.
But no, because the rest of them were all right. Like,
nice to see Fab Delph come on and give a bit of applause as well.
Yeah, we've had a lot with Murphy and Delph.
We've had like a nice warm feeling in his return to ground, haven't we?
Taylor at Burnley.
No, he won't realise. Listen, he won't realise he's ever played for Leeds. He'll have forgot about that now.
Yeah, that's true.
So no, that'll
no wage deferrals for him.
No. So are we giving it to?
Yeah, that'll be.
It's a tight one this week.
Delph, Murphy, Taylor, then Milner. And then keep the chain going.
Could do, couldn't we? Yeah. Chain of ex-Leeds players. Yeah. I'm going to have to side with Ben and go for Richarlison because he did particularly annoy me.
Yeah, we'll go with Richarlison.
So Richarlison, congratulations. You are this week's shithouse of the week in quite an Everton-packed lineup. Yeah. John Matson says over on the old... book face here. On this day in 1992, Eric Cantona scored the first ever Premier League hat-trick.
Against Chelsea.
Oh, good knowledge, Mike, if that's true. I can't tell you if it is. But
it is. It was a good hat trick as well.
Was it? Yeah, boo. Stuart Charlton has missed the boat a little bit, but he says he wants to put Harry Kane in there for backtracking. He's always going to do that, though, isn't he? You know
I'm just trying to think if there's I'll try to look to see if there's a link to Newcastle. So after Liverpool, there's Newcastle, but there's no ex-Leeds player.
Danny Rose, is he at Newcastle?
No, he's at Watford.
Yeah. Joe Willock's apparently a Leeds fan.
Is that true?
No way.
Dwight Gale, we've been linked with him every transfer window since time began.
Oh, if we're going like that, yeah, there's Freddie Woodman. We were linked to them earlier.
Yeah, we had a chat with him, didn't we?
Darlow, sort of, we linked to him a few
times.
Yeah.
Oh, what a shame.
No,
could be a good game, this, to try and spot a Leeds link in every game that we play.
It won't be hard.
No, we won't, to be fair. So, our final sponsor this week, and I'm going to come to you, Mike. What's a crack-a-lacking at the Terrace at the moment, then?
They've just released they're working on releasing a baby range, or bibs, baby grows, so you can match your young'un, and just released a range of like illustrated stadium mugs.
Yes, I've seen there's an Ellen Road one on there as well, so you can get yourself you can have a drink from Ellen Road.
Yeah. Relive the memories. Yeah.
Also, speaking about drinks from Ellen Road, that's just brought me on. I've just remembered that. We'll come back to the Terrace in a minute.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Leeds United for being able to disperse queues queuing for the bar by creating 2 separate queues now. One queuing for the pay point and one queuing for the bar. Good work.
And one queuing for the collection point.
And one,
3 queues,
and giving you the wrong drink, and then when you do get it, it's like a cup of warm piss.
And they ask you to put the lid on for you.
Or they ask you to put the lid on your own bovril.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sure it's just teething problems. You know, they've not had to deal with fans for so long, so it'll take a bit of time to iron out. Back to the Terrace, Mike. So, baby range?
Yeah, baby range. That's what I've been plugging recently. The baby girls will be out in a couple of weeks. Got to do like loads of product testing and that. But same old, really.
Yeah, and they've been giving away on match days some Leeds packages, if you like. There were Leeds and Crewe ones, I think, for the game last night. If we retweeted it off our Twitter, you got there's Leeds gift pack.
We have giveaways going on all the time.
Yeah.
It's a great little company. Support us if you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, keep abreast of our socials. We regularly share their stuff, particularly on Twitter. Big thanks to the guys at the Terrace. There is some Talking Shut stuff on there. I think we kind of need to work on a bit of updating it, don't we? It's got like our old logo on it, and the Alcidy mug and Raggy's fingers are on there and stuff, and we probably need to do a bit of work on that. But we'll get there. We'll get there eventually. So go check them out at theterracestore.com. Loads of great good stuff on there that you can personalize as well for your family members.
Absolutely.
Should you need to, you can get your names on there and all that.
And it's
type
free
of stuff. Good
free
gift.
personalization.
And they've done loads of great good stuff for charity, and they're top lads and lasses. So big thanks to them for joining us. Lads, that kind of brings us to an end of episode 157, going into the game against Turf Moor before the international break on Sunday. Will you be ingesting the game, Ben?
I don't know yet.
You know yet?
All my mates are going out on Bank Holiday Sunday, so it's either town or I might watch a move on and then go out.
Yeah. Mike, where will you be ingesting the game?
Probably from the comfort of home.
Nice.
Really.
Nice. With your brother? Will your brother be invited? Or?
Yes.
There you go.
There you go then. That's why you're watching it. That's an easy one.
I did ask a couple of mates if they were watching it in town, but I think cricket's on. Cricket's on, so some people.
Nah,
don't follow cricket.
Cricket will be over by then.
Is it Ashes? Is it Ashes?
No, it's India. England, India.
All right, okay.
I don't follow it.
I don't too.
Yeah. But just get my feet up at home.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the game. Get another 3 points on board. Suddenly, if you go to international break with a loss, a draw, and a win in the isotonic Vietnamese energy drink,
of which
trophy,
the third round draw is tonight.
Yeah, it's been drawn by a water buffalo in
Killingbeck Morrison
in Kung Pai by Sean Harvey,
Paul Ince, and
Paul Ince and that woman who rodded Dominic Calvert-Lewin are drawing it.
Really, we could do it coming out with 3 points.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
3 points is big. Nice.
When you're talking about developing on last season, we took 6 points from Burnley, so you got to take 7 from them.
Yeah, build on that. So that brings us to the end of episode 157. Big thanks to Harry for joining us, mate, and letting us record in your kitchen. It's a real pleasure, mate. Thanks very much. And your food you knocked up were banging, by the way. So
you're welcome.
We need Harry in more, to be honest, Mike.
Yeah, right.
Do you want to go to work for Harry, and we'll keep Harry?
No.
Is he any good at graphics? Can you do graphics? No. All right. Sorry, Harry.
I can use Microsoft Paint, but that's about it.
It brings us to episode 157. Big thank you to the Terrace and Manscapped for continuing to support us. We'll be back next week from a different location, possibly, or maybe even this location. It just depends. We'll be back next week. Big thanks to everybody who's tuned in, commented, and all that type of stuff. We need your help, though. We need you. We need you to try and share our tweets particularly because we're hovering at about 8,400 followers on Twitter, and I desperately want to get us to 10,000. I don't know why. I think it might be my OCD kicking in a little bit, but I want us to get to 10,000. So if you don't already follow us on Twitter, please do. Or just bang a tweet out saying, go follow these. The moderate lads, they're all right. And
to be fair, one person said on Twitter that she met a load of podcast virgins, and we weren't
the podcast virgins, which
I took that as a very good compliment.
Yeah, I did as well. Yeah,
she said that. Sweaty podcast virgins. I said that was the rain, not sweat.
Not sweat. And the other thing as well, somebody tweeted me last night saying he was walking to the ground with his son and said to his son, "Oh look, it's Gary from Talking Shut," and his son went, "Who?" So that kind of sums it up.
Yeah.
Which is fine by me.
And Cameron from Birmingham, who was on the show.
But
he was apparently shouting at me last week, and I totally ignored him.
Yeah, we're doing the sketch from Alan Partridge shouting down in the car park, weren't he? Yeah. Repeatedly.
But my name's Ben.
Ben. Yeah, he's not heard me. Sorry.
But do follow our socials because I make very good graphics as well.
That is a very good point.
Yeah, so that's worth it.
So reasons to follow our graphics. Mike makes our socials. Mike makes really good graphics, and we're going to play a game. See if you can tell who's put the tweet out. If the graphics look good and it's spelt correctly, it's probably Mike.
Yeah.
If it's a picture of like a seagull and it's got loads of bad spelling, it's probably me.
Yeah. So, if it's funny, it's me.
And if it's funny, it's probably Ben. Yeah. And Harry ain't got access rights just yet. And Raggy don't tweet on our behalf.
If it's a picture of smoked meat,
it's Harry. So anyway, bringing this to an end. A big thanks to everybody who's tuning in. Please leave us a review and try and get people to listen to it. We do appreciate everybody who gets involved, and it's a pleasant experience to do this every week. So
it is,
I'll sit there.
See you there.